Welcome, everybody, to the Legends of Hoosier Hysteria on the Grilling True Sports Network. I'm your host for the Legends of Hoosier Hysteria, Mike Goodpaster, and this will be a show that we will look back at the legends of Indiana high school basketball, legendary players, legendary games, maybe forgotten moments in Hoosier Hysteria. This will not include anything after 1997 or 98, when it was ruined and Indiana went to class basketball. Today, our topic is Marion Pierce, otherwise known as the Henry County Hurricane. Now, a lot of you, especially the younger guys, may have never heard of Marion Pierce. But high school basketball in Indiana once carried the weight of religion, and no player embodied that golden era more than Marion Pierce. Known as the Henry County Hurricane, Pierce's name struck fear into opponents throughout the late 1950s and early 1960s. Playing for tiny Louisville High School, a school with fewer than 85 students, Pierce built a legendary career that still resonates across Hoosier hoops history. With a tireless work ethic, a picture-perfect jump shot, and scoring numbers that seem unreal even today, Pierce's story represents the spirit of small-town Indiana basketball before consolidation and class tournaments changed it forever. Now, to understand Pierce's impact, you must first understand Louisville. Nestled in an Indiana community of fewer than 400 residents, the school represented the heartbeat of local life. In an era before the Indiana Pacers or the Indianapolis Colts existed, high school basketball was the crown jewel of entertainment identity, especially in small, rural towns in Indiana. For Louisville, Pierce wasn't just a great player. He was the symbol of small-town pride. Every basket brought his community closer together, and every upset victory over a bigger school reminded fans that in Indiana, David could still beat Goliath. Now, standing 6'4", Pierce was a big guard for his era. But what made him special was his silky jump shot. His dedication was legendary. Locals said that even during rainstorms, you'd find him outside practicing in a raincoat. When the sun went down, he kept shooting under the headlights of cars at his father's junkyard. Hours upon hours of practice created a shooter whose range and rhythm were unmatched in the state. That relentless grind produced scoring totals few high school players could ever dream of. Pierce's production rose each year of his high school career. As a freshman, he averaged 20 a game. As a sophomore, 34. As a junior, 36. As a senior, 38. And remember, there was no three-point line here. His single-game masterpiece came as a sophomore when he poured in 64 points against Union Township, including an astonishing 50 points in the second half. By the end of his career, Pierce had scored 3,019 points. A record stood until Damon Bailey broke it in 1990, 3 decades later. And remember, Damon Bailey had the three-point shot. Now, the 1961 tournament run was Pierce's senior year. It brought him his defining moment. In the 1961 Newcastle sectional, tiny Louisville stunned the mighty Newcastle Trojans 56-49 in the world's largest high school gym. Pierce scored 27 points in the victory, leading his team to cut down the nets in a win that still lives on in Henry County lore. Louisville advanced all the way to the regional finals, where they fell by just 3 points to powerhouse Muncie Central. Yes, the same program Milan famously beat in 1954. Even in defeat, Pierce dropped 25 points, proving he belonged on the state's biggest stage. That run, capped with a sectional championship, was the community's proudest moment. In those days, winning a sectional often meant more than what chasing a state title in class basketball does today. Pierce was selected in the 1961 Indiana All-Stars, becoming the only non-Newcastle player from Henry County to receive that honor. For a player from a school of fewer than 100 students, it was a monumental achievement. His scoring captured headlines, but it was the ability to lift a tiny town into statewide conversation that cemented his legacy. To this day, old timers argue that Pierce's legend outshone more modern legends like Romeo Langford because Pierce played when Indiana high school basketball was at its absolute peak. Now, after high school, Lewis played one season at Lindsey Wilson Junior College in Kentucky. He continued his scoring pace. He averaged 32 points per game. In one contest, he erupted for 79. Further proof is a remarkable shooting touch. Unfortunately, Pierce never went on to a major college or professional career, but his impact had already been made. His story remains less about what came next and more about the unforgettable years when he carried Louisville on his back. Marion Pierce's career is a reminder of a bygone era in Indiana when one small town, one player, and one sectional tournament could unite a community and capture the imagination of the state. His 2019 career points, sectional championship glory, and relentless dedication turned him into a legend that still stands tall in Hoosier Hoops history. Though consolidation erased Louisville High School and class basketball diluted the magic of the single class tournament, Pierce's story endures. He wasn't just a Henry County Hurricane. He was the embodiment of Indiana basketball at its purest. When every shot, every game, and every player